Well, hello, everybody. It's been a little while here. I'm so excited to be amongst friends today. If you guys will do me the great favor and comment below where you are tuning in from. And by the way, for my friends who are watching live, if you'll drop a number 1 in the chat right now. And for those of you later who are coming on the replay, drop a number 2. I would love to warmly welcome you. Let me see what's happening here in the chat. Hello, everybody. Hello. Good to see all of my fabulous friends here. Let's go ahead and get started today. I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a kind of a 1-year progress report, a little bit of what's been going on a year later. We went from billions to blank slate, but also to just be able to share some things. It's been a year where I've been able to reflect and share some things that are working today. And it is my hope, really, after everything that we've navigated, to I have such a heart for the profession, to redeem the profession, and to really help you to amplify your sales, make things simple for you, and to help you grow and share with you what's working for us too. So from billions to blank slate, 1 year, we lost 1 year ago, literally, can you guys believe? I mean, literally, can you believe it's been a year? I can't believe it's been a year. We lost everything. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how we are doing today. It's hard to believe it's been a year. For those of you who don't know my story, I'll quickly update and I'll share that with you in case you're sharing this on team pages or in threads with friends. My name is Sarah Robbins, and over the course of the past nearly 20 years, we built one of the most successful sales teams. I actually think the most successful sales team ever in the history of our industry. We built over $1 billion in sales a year. We did that in under 5 years. In fact, our team got to over $2 billion in sales every year. And 1 year ago, so literally July of last year, we lost everything. Our company decided to go affiliate and to change the model, which meant we would lose 99.9% of our income literally overnight. So if you can imagine, that was a life-changing announcement for all of us. And it led us to really look for a new opportunity where we could stay in community. And I think there's a few things that are interesting about that story that I really haven't shared yet. And I want to share some of these things with you today. And this is, by the way, this is just my personal story, but this is the truth. And this is, what happened. Many of you, some of you know, some of you do not know, 6 months prior. So imagine this happened July of last year, 1 year ago that we got that announcement, going from $1 billion sales team to blank slate. It was literally gone. Okay. Everything we worked for nearly 20 years, gone. What many of you don't know is 6 months prior, in January, I was actually at a church service. Okay, now if this is not your jam, just bear with me for a minute because I'm going to get to some practical tips of what's working now. And this is going to help you in your business. But this is my own true story. Okay, I was at a church service 6 months prior, and my pastor was speaking. He brought his mentor up. The mentor, Dr. Maiden, did not know me and actually sees me standing in the crowd. And he says, and I have it recorded, by the way, this is on my Instagram. So if you want to find it, you can go to my Instagram at Sarah Robbins 1, and you can scroll back to about July of last year. I think it's a picture of me on the Instagram grid, and I'm like writing in a book, and I posted the actual audio recording. He calls me out and he's like, "Girl in the sparkly shoes." Well, if you know me, if you know Sarah, you know she loves sparkles, and I had some sparkly tennis shoes on. He knew nothing about me, obviously, clearly did not know my name. And he says, I have a word for you. He said, "I have something that I want to share with you." He said, "A great betrayal is coming." And of course, I'm like, who's going to betray me? Can you imagine that? Like, literally, can you imagine that? And I just realized I needed to share this too in one of my groups. Let me do that real quick. Stick with me here because you're gonna want to hear this. I mean, this is like literally, it's crazy. It's not crazy if you believe this kind of thing, but some of y'all might think I'm crazy. That's okay. You can think I'm crazy today. We can all think whatever we want to think, right? But this is my own true story. So again, I go from $1 billion in sales to blank slate. Company makes the announcement, everything's gone. January last year, I'm at a church service and my pastor's mentor is speaking. And he's like, girl in the sparkly shoes. He's like, I got a word for you. Okay. He says, a great betrayal is coming. And I'm like, who's going to betray me? I'm like, my best friend. Like, who's it going to be? You start looking at everybody cross-eyed. And he said, but God is going to heal it. And he says, and the thing you thought would be forever, he said, God's going to change the trajectory of it. Now, can you imagine, like, let me just ask, like in the chat, and please, like, can you imagine, like, literally what that felt like? I'm like, who's going to betray me? And what is the thing that I thought would be forever that's all of a sudden going to change? And then I guess the next part was a little bit of assurance. Again, I have this recorded on my Instagram page so you can hear it. Is he says, you've not done anything wrong. Nothing is out of order and nothing is out of place. And all of a sudden he pauses and he says, then suddenly people will come to you and say, how much would it take for you to sell this or do this? I'm like, what is he talking about? Like, am I going to be like doing consulting? Because I do consulting for companies. I'm like, none of this is making sense. Okay. Because this was 6 months before we lost our $1 billion business, literally. So he said, suddenly people come to you and say, how much to sell this or do this? He said, but in 18 months, it will make up for the past 3 years. That was it. So as you can imagine in my head, girl in the sparkly shoes, a great betrayal is coming. God's going to heal it. The thing you thought would be forever, God's going to change the trajectory. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's out of order. Nothing's out of place, right? Suddenly people are going to say, how much to sell this? How much to do that? And in 18 months, it will make up for the past 3 years. Now, let me just ask, with one word in the chat, let me just ask, a total stranger calls you out at a random church service and says that to you, how you going to feel? How you going to feel? Amanda was said, heart beating fast, like I can't breathe moment. I will tell you, I was like, I'm going to forget about that because that was a little like, I'm like, what on earth? This is so obscure. Like you've heard where it's like, they're like, and your children are blessed. It's like these great things. And I'm like, this was very specific. But at the time, it made no sense. If you don't believe this is true, by the way, go back to my Instagram 1 year ago at Sarah Robbins Fun, the number 1, okay? Go back to my Instagram, July last year. You can scroll all the way down, look in the little grid. I'm writing in a little, I'll share it in stories today. How about that, okay? You can hear it for yourself. I audio recorded this man that I didn't know and he didn't know me, okay? And I'm like, well, shoot, I'm going to forget that happened. I'm just going to be real honest. So I did. I kept it in voice memo. I forgot it was recorded. And I was like, well, I don't know who's going to betray me or what's going to happen, but like, maybe that guy ate something bad for dinner. Okay. So all of that to say, I forgot about what happened 6 months prior because it was at the time so obscure, but now I realize today it was so specific. So let's just put that aside for a minute. Okay. That happens. 6 months later, we get called from our company on a surprise leadership call. Now, I'm going to tell you, when people are like, did you know? I have no idea. We had just gone on a company trip. Again, our sales were over $1.6 billion. That's like in a year when all of this happened. Okay. So it's not like, we were like, begging for bread, like out on a court, like that just wasn't the case. We were successful. We were thriving. We were on one of our elite, gorgeous, beautiful company trips a few weeks before. I noticed, by the way, so our CEO wasn't there and he had a family emergency. And I was like, well, I'm going to wish him well. I wonder what's happening. I went on Facebook and his Facebook was deleted. And again, nothing alerted me. I just thought, well, like maybe there really is some sort of an emergency. A couple weeks later, we get the call. hey, be on a surprise leadership meeting. And people are messaging me like, what is happening? I'm like, I have no idea what was happening. I was the top earner of that company for many years. No idea. It was on our advisory board. Never knew. And it's an attorney reading from a script, letting us know that in 60 days, we'd be losing all of our sales teams and 99.9999999% of our income. Okay. So how would you feel in that moment, right? I'll tell you, my instinct is always to lead, always. And I thought in that moment, and by the way, I'm gonna give you some lessons in the story that if you're a leader in this space, you need to pay attention to. This is the first thing, by the way. This is the first lesson I hope everybody hears and learns from here. I led in the good times and in the hard times. I was the leader who doubled down on leadership, even when we were like, not just in the trenches building, but like in the trenches, like when things were tough. And because of that, people trusted me. So in that moment, and by the way, that's how you weather these storms, okay? If you think like your company is going to be forever, so did I. Remember that word? If the thing you thought would be forever, we were told they would never, okay? How many of you have heard that before? Okay. So here's the thing. The thing I thought would be forever, all of a sudden it's gone. But I'm telling you what, I'm leading in the trenches. And that is a lesson for all of you leaders. That is how we fared well. That's what causes people to go like, yeah, I'm going to trust you to lead in this next season. I have watched people in the industry whose companies closed or they went affiliate and their teams. I mean, some of them, like not a person followed them over. Why? They stopped leading at some point. Leaders lead on the mountaintop and in the valley, and they double down on leadership and relationships in every single season. When your leader checks out, you don't even want to follow them to the bathroom, much less to the next thing. Am I right or am I right? How many people would be honest in the chat and be like, that's right? Whether you're a leader or whether you're, just brand new in the business, it's true. So in that moment, I'm just getting on the phone and I'm starting to make phone calls. And my phone is blowing up with like every offer, every opportunity, every option. Have you thought about starting your own company before? I've got little kids. I'm just like, that sounds like a lot of work. Have you thought about doubling down on your coaching practice? For those of you who don't know, by the way, I do coaching in the industry. It's called the Network Marketing Inner Circle. You can join us. It's good for anybody. Any company will help you to level up. It was like suggested, like, hey, double down on your coaching practice, right? I built a lot of success. I earned a lot of money in my previous company, and I'm so grateful. So I didn't have to do something again. Okay. I lead a mastermind in the industry. It's called Made to Multiply. And there was all of these, kind of suggestions of what I should do. And I'm going to tell you, it took me a split second to go, of course, I want to do this again. Of course, I want to do this again. And let me just pause for a moment and just validate the profession for a moment. I don't want my story to freak anybody out. Have we heard about companies going affiliate? Beachbody, Rodan and Fields, company closures, Modere. Yes, we have. And for some of you, that actually causes you to pause and go, oh my gosh, like, should I run for the hills? Like, is the business broken? Is the industry dying? Let me just for a practical moment here. Most of those top leaders are doing it again. Why? I'm no dummy. I'm like, if I'm going to do this again, I'm going to be very careful because of my reputation in the industry where I put my name and network. I'm not going to attach my name or network, right? People trust me just anywhere. So our story was very unique. Along with the other companies that I just mentioned, it was a tale of private equity. So there's private equity dollars. They don't see people for the contribution they make. It's just people as dollar signs. You see people on a spreadsheet. I'm paying out all this money. Like, how do you, cut costs and increase profitability? Bye-bye, the hundreds of thousands of people that we're paying checks to. That's the simplest way to put it. The industry has been around for over 100 years. In fact, the company that I chose to join is over 70, well, almost, we're going to celebrate 70 years, 70 years old. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute, by the way, because we're going to bust some myths today. Because I'm telling you, there are some things that are out there that I'm like, y'all, like, what random trainer did you hear this from? Like, literally, like, it's a bunch of lemmings, like, jumping off a cliff. There's too much saturation. You can't join a company that's like past 3 years old. It's like, can I just be real for a minute? Do you guys mind? It's stupid stuff that, like, I'm like, it's like we picked up, it's like the generational thing of the story of like Uncle Larry who heard it from Uncle Tom, who heard it from Uncle John. And it's like, where did y'all get this crap? Okay. Just for a minute. Like, okay, you guys very rarely see the spicy side. So when you see the spicy side, just bear with me because she's going to be back to like her sweet self in just a minute. But here's the thing I want you to hear. We are in the best business model on the planet. And if you would agree with me, somebody just put an amen in the chat. Let me just like know, like, somebody's watching, y'all are hearing me. If you agree, just put an amen in the chat. Why? And again, remember, the industry's been around for 100 years. It's not going anywhere. Do companies evolve and change? Absolutely. Does the industry evolve and change? Absolutely. Every industry does. But this story was rare. It was a tale of private equity. $billion brands don't just go and like make these brash decisions overnight. There's more to the story. This is what I want you to know. This is what I want you to hear. We're not going to be scared. We're going to be loud and proud about our industry and what it allows us to do and what it allows us to do to help others. Okay, so let me build your belief for a moment. Okay, if you want to talk about the industry and your company and why it's the best gig on the planet, let me just ask you this. Where else could you start a business that is low cost, no risk? Or I should say low risk. Where else could you do a business that's on your time and your terms? Where you're not trading hours for dollars, your time for someone else's money? What other business could you be profitable right away? You know, I think about this. I'm like, where else could we do what we do, live how we live, give how we give? It's the only business model I know that allows us to help people at scale in the way that we have. Not just our teams. Yes, our teams. We had hundreds of thousands of people on our team. But we were able to gift our first home to a family in need, literally give it to them. We've built orphanages, homes overseas, and we have housed hundreds of children who didn't have a home. By the way, when you do that, when they have a physical address, they're now entitled to go to school and get 2 meals a day. It wasn't a question of if, it was a question of where. I believe so much in our profession. Otherwise, why would I be doing this again? I mean, if you thought I was scared of all people, I'd be like, running for the hills. I believe so much in what it does, not only for us as an individual, but allows us to do for other people. So guess what? I did research. Wasn't going to tie my name or my network to just anywhere. I'm sorry, it wasn't. Because I'm telling you what, I only want to do it one more time, right? The rebuild's a lot of work. 20 years ago. So, by the way, I joined a nearly 70-year-old company. Okay. And I will tell you this, we're actually building faster than the first time. And I'm going to share with you how and why, because I want you to take some lessons from this today and actually apply it to help you to scale your sales. Would that be good for you guys? I'm going to share with you the lessons that we learned, what's working right now, and how you can leverage this in your business, no matter your company, no matter your level. Like today, I want to help you to level up. But here's the thing I will tell you is 20 years ago, my priorities were so different. And I think in the industry, because again, I told you the industry is evolving, priorities were different. It used to be, it's like, I want to choose the bright, shiny new company. Now, more and more people, and it's not everybody, because some people, they have different risk tolerance. It used to be people wanted the shiny new, but now more and more people are choosing stable and strong. They want these stable, strong legacy companies, one who have proven, right, over time and with continued growth, right, which means a company is innovative, but there's security there, right? It's like stability is the new sexy. And I'll share with you, like what I was looking for personally in a company. And I'm not going to tell you some myths that we busted. Because I'm telling you, the industry needs a big old spanking. And I'm going to give y'all one today. Okay. Like somebody said in the chat, like, we like your spicy side. Okay. So a few things. Number one, I was looking for stability first and foremost. I didn't want to plant my name or network anywhere. I wanted a company who's willing to double down on the industry while others in the industry were abandoning it. Like to me, I'm like, when we look at business opportunity, why are we not asking, like, is the company debt free? Is there any private equity? It's like we start a business. This is a business decision, yet we're not asking those questions like who owns it? Tell me about the health, the longevity, the legacy of the company. Next, I wanted products that were going to stand the test of time. I chose a category that continues to grow, not just a company, but a category. Does that make sense? It's one thing to say, I work for this company, but it's another to say, oh, it's a wellness company. Wellness continues to grow. I wanted something consumable, of course, because that gives you the ability to have residual sales and something that wasn't going to be a fad. The companies right now that were built on fad. So it's like, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to offend anybody, because I serve companies in all spaces with my coaching. But it's like when the next hottest thing comes in to do this thing, it's like, does that mean it's like turn and burn? I'm going to have to start over. That just wasn't interesting to me. Now, I will say for some of you, that may be. You like the challenge of starting something new, and every 3 years, you're ready to start something new. Fine with you. This is just where I sat, okay? For me, it was important that I understood the compensation plan. I talked to a leader the other day and friends. I'm like, I'm having a hard time understanding. Like, it's like, okay, this company had like a breakaway in its plan, which essentially means like when your people promote, you actually make less. I'm like, in what world does that make sense? You want your people to be successful and not for you to have less success. Like you want to grow leaders. You should be incentivized to do it. But people are, again, making business decisions without making an actual business decision. So I'm like, I want a pay plan that rewards sellers and builders. I want the everyday person, regardless if they wish to build, they win. They can build to leadership that way. They get bonuses that way. They get trips that way. But I also, want a plan that's going to pay well, for doing the hard work. If you want to have, a part-time income or a career income. Okay. And I'm going to tell you this. This is where like you're going to get the Sarah spanking. Okay. So here's the thing I'm going to tell you. We are doing people a disgusting disservice when we tell them, oh, don't go to that company. It's saturated. There are millions of people in my company. We've done tens of billions of dollars in sales. And guess what? We're actually the fastest growing company of its size and scale ever in the history of our industry. We're growing. And I'm not saying this to sell you on my company because I serve people in all companies. But again, I'm going to bust the myth here. Okay. And I'm going to talk about how it applies to you. It's one thing for a startup to say, we went from 0 to 99. We grew in double digits. That's great. And that's wonderful. But for a company who has done tens of billions of dollars in sales to grow in double digits, do you know how hard that is? Double digits domestically, triple digits in Canada, Australia, etc. That tells you a story of not only stability, but also innovation. If you're a company 70 years strong that can continue to grow and be the fastest. Since we joined, we've had 200,000 people join our movement. We call our movement ageless, okay? So here's the thing. It's like, how do you have a startup without all the risk? You create a movement. We've had 200,000 people join. And it's been 1 year, literally this month, that we went from billions to blank slate. Our team last month, so we just closed out the month in 1 year. We're doing the same amount of sales as we did in my last company before we went affiliate. So let's bust the myth here. You can't join, an older company. Oh, that company's too saturated. It's just a lie. It's not true. You know what it's about? It's not about the company. It's about you. Period. I can be successful no matter where I go. You can be successful if you put in the work, right? No matter where you go. I said this on a training I did earlier. I was doing it with my friend Joan, and I said, your willing to has to be greater than your wanting to. Like we talk about our why very often, and it's like your willing to has to be greater than your wanting to. but we busted those myths. You can build somewhere and be very successful, even if it's an established company. And that's what more and more people are choosing. I keep saying over and over now, stability is the new sexy. Okay. So I want to give you guys some practical lessons that I'm hoping you can take from this today. Number one, forgiveness and faith. I'm going to be real honest with you. I think if I held on to unforgiveness and feelings of betrayal, I don't think we'd be in the place we are today. Part of that word that I was given 6 months prior by that pastor was a great betrayal is coming. God's going to heal it. I have never talked negatively about my previous company, any people who are a part of it, whether they were corporate, the decision makers who did it, or even, people in the field who did different things. I bless them, release them. I'm grateful for that season because it led me to this. And I'm telling you, when you hold on to unforgiveness, it blocks you from blessing in this season. Whether or not you believe that, I can promise you it's true. And then faith. I believed that we could do it again. I stood on, by the way, again, personal to me, Isaiah 61:7. The Lord would restore double my losses, even my joy. We're going to build a bigger business than ever before. We are building faster than before. Okay. But I'm so grateful for that season. I have such a heart to redeem the profession. And I wanted more than anything to really share the systems that we used to build in order to transform and change our industry. Many of you guys know I wrote a new book, and I'm going to share with you a little bit about that and about my heart here and just some practical tips for you. But you can learn more about it. It's called The Multiply Method. It's already a bestseller. You can pre-order it at themultiplymethod.com. We've got some great pre-order bonuses there. But this book was actually written prior to our company changing models. Do you know, I was literally getting ready to release it and we got the news. And I'm like, well, shoot, I guess God's got another chapter to be written. So I literally went and I was like, okay, well, I'm rebuilding my customer base just like all of you, starting from scratch. And I realized I'm not starting from scratch. I'm starting with systems and experience. And it caused me to comb through every single word as I was rebuilding. I waited to release it. Now it's going to be 1 year later to say, what did I do then that is working now? And what am I doing today that's even more relevant? Like, what's working? From words that work to simple systems. And I put them all together in the book. By the way, this isn't a book of stories. Most books in our industry are great, but they're books of stories. This is a book of systems. It honestly is the only business book of its kind. This is what they call a galley copy, by the way, the Multiply Method. So it's like, it doesn't look as pretty as it's gonna look. It's a shiny hardcover, like iridescent, like you're gonna see it on Barnes and Noble, like in the business book section, okay? But I decided I had after everything that happened to me, I have such a heart to redeem this industry. And here's why. I believe a healthy industry is healthy for us all. It doesn't make me happy to hear any company's closing, any leader's check is declining. And I thought, that's my heart. This is why I am here. My heart, one of my purposes as I'm here on earth is to redeem the industry. And so I decided to share all of my systems in this book, The Multiply Method. And I'm going to share a few of them with you today because I promised I would leave you with some practical tips. But in The Multiply Method, like chapter 1, I talk all about prospecting. Like, how am I finding all of my leads today? Where do I find people? What do I say? Giving you words that work. Today I was on with Joan and we talked about like how to tell your story. I mean, these are simple things that are so empowering for people. It's like we get ashamed when we talk about our income, and I'm like, no. Write this down. In part-time hours, my business allows me to blank. In part-time hours, my business allows me to send my kids to college, fund my retirement, go on vacations. All of a sudden, we focus on meaning versus money. Not only do we have an attitude of gratitude, it changes our story. Powerful prospecting language. Chapter 2 is all about, okay, now people are interested. What do I say? It's all on presenting how to share your business powerfully, professionally, every setting, whether it's call, conversation, coffee, event, virtual event, etc. Chapter 3 is closing. Like, how do I take curiosity and convert it into a sale? Chapter 4, do you want to know the reason most people don't enroll people? I've watched people, by the way, they've enrolled hundreds of customers and they never sponsor one person into the business. Do you want to know why? Can anybody guess? If you know the answer, because I've told you, you don't get to guess. The reason why most people don't sponsor somebody, it's a subliminal fear. They're afraid if someone joins me, you know how people have fear of failure? They're afraid if someone joins me in the business, I won't know what to do next. That's it. They're afraid of failing someone else. So literally my entire onboarding system from effective enrollment to daily duplication system is in this book, The Multiply Method. You can get bonuses when you order at themultiplymethod.com. Okay, don't go through Amazon, or you can order on Amazon, but make sure you do the order on Amazon through themultiplymethod.com. You'll get the bonuses. But next, customer acquisition, retention. So not only how to get customers, but to multiply your sales. My social media selling system, I generated hundreds of leads. 100% of them come to me. I tell you exactly what I'm doing right now. And that's the thing that I love, by the way, you guys. It's like, this isn't like from somebody like high on the hill who built success 20 years ago. That's why I wasn't supposed to release the book yet, right? This is somebody who's had the experience in the industry, but is saying, I'm in the trenches. Here's what's working today. This will work, by the way, for anybody, any company, and any level will help you to level up. If you're a leader, there's some leadership systems. There's a whole chapter on that and so much more. But I realize we're not starting over. We're not starting from scratch. We're starting with these systems, and I want to share them with the world. And by the way, I believe this: when you simplify, you multiply. You will be so surprised at how simple it is to sell. Where most people, by the way, they're slowing down their sales is they're going to the science side or they're going to the sales side, but it's all in how we tell a story. I'll give you a quick example before we close out today, okay? This is good. You don't want to miss this. This is like a bonus tip that's like $1 billion tip. It's going to come straight from the book. It's on the chapter on selling. My selling system is, write it down. This is a free tip for you out of the book: recommendation, validation, enroll. If you're finding value, by the way, will you share this in your team pages and thread and just type share below? I'm going to put you into a raffle for an autographed copy of the book, okay? You want your whole team to hear this, okay? You want a simple selling system? This was a system responsible for millions of customers and doing billions of dollars in sales. Recommendation, validation, enroll. When someone expresses interest in my product, I make a recommendation. I'll say, if you change one thing about your blank, what would it be and why? If you change one thing about your skin, what would it be and why? If you change one thing about your wellness journey, what would it be and why? Okay, make a recommendation. Here's what I recommend: our youth right regimen. Now, the second step is where most people make a mistake. They go to science and it's like they try to impress you with all they know. That overwhelms the prospect, it overwhelms you. Or they try to go to sales. That overwhelms the prospect, that overwhelms you. Instead, next step, step 2, validation, is build the belief by sharing a story. Most people don't want to know all the science. They simply want to know, does it work? If they want to know the science, they're going to ask. So after I make the recommendation, validation, I'll send them some before and afters. So that's how you could tell a story. Maybe you'll share some testimonials instead, if you don't have like a visual product where people see a physical result. But what I'll say is, here's what I recommend. Here's some before and afters. My customers love it. You're going to love it. Okay, or here's a story. So-and-so loved it. You're going to love it because maybe you sell a service. Okay, and then the next step in enroll is we have to close. How do we close? By creating, by sharing basically an offer, which creates urgency, and a guarantee, which creates confidence in sales. And then ask for the order. So here's how it goes. So again, I recommend this for you. Here's some great stories. They love it. You're going to love it. Next, I can get you 15% off and free shipping today. Offer, guarantee, plus an empty bottle guarantee. Ooh, that makes them feel good. Now ask, write this down. These words, you're going to get so many words that work in the multiply method. It's going to literally blow your mind. It's going to make selling so simple for you. Ask, would you like to give it a try? That subtle sell. This is not like hardcore sales. Asking, would you like to give it a try? That simple question is going to convert curiosity into new customers. It's a question they have to answer, but it's not a hard sale, right? So I'm going to review this with you. Recommendation validation role. This comes from the customer acquisition chapter in the book. Someone comments on your stuff. Hey, Sarah, I want to try your skincare. Great. Recommendation. If you change one thing about your skin, what would it be and why? Here's what I recommend. Validation. I'm not going to go into science or sales unless they ask. Here's a great story. Send them a before and after or a testimonial, just some sort of social proof. They love it. You're going to love it. Are we tracking? If you're tracking with me, by the way, say yes in the chat. Okay. And now we're going to go to enroll. We're going to lead with an offer and a guarantee. An offer to create urgency, a guarantee to create confidence. And then we're going to ask, because if you ask not, so you need to get your ask, ASK, in gear. Man, did you guys expect a 30-minute free training today? This is good. Okay, come on, let's go. Share this in your team pages. You want them doing this, guys. Okay, so here's the thing. I can get you 15% off free shipping today. My company, I can give that every day, but I'm going to say today to create urgency, right? Plus an empty bottle guarantee. You have nothing to lose. Now they're not afraid of spending the money. And then I'm going to ask, would you like to give it a try? Boom. That simple selling system was responsible for generating millions of customers and doing billions of dollars of sales per year. And I'm telling you this, leaders, you need to hear this. When you simplify, you multiply, okay? There's so much more that I want to share with you guys in the book. Again, the book's not going to tell my story. If you missed the beginning of this, you'll have to go back and watch the story of from billions to blank slate. Did we know it was coming? All that good stuff. This is not a book of stories. This is a book of systems. And guys, I'm really excited. We are just literally like weeks away from the official release, but we have pre-order bonuses for those of you who buy the book today. Comment the word club below, by the way, if you want to join us for a free book club, okay? We will send you info right in your inbox, okay? So we'll send you info right in your inbox. So comment the word club below, okay? So we're going to give you a couple pre-order bonuses, and the pre-order bonuses are this. When you buy one book, we're going to give you a free workbook. And here's the thing that is really cool that I want you to know is this book, by the way, chapter by chapter, we give you a challenge. So we're going to give you just some things that you can do and implement, okay? And at the end of every chapter, basically, you're going to be generating leads chapter by chapter, which is so cool, okay? Yoli, you said you bought 5 already. Yay, thank you. If you've already got the book, let us know in the chat. I love that, just so I can say thank you later. But when you buy one, okay, we're going to give you the free workbook. You got it, or purchase it, though, on the multiplymethod.com, okay? And if you want to be in book club free, just comment club below, okay? Also, if you buy one, we just started a challenge that started today. For those who buy one copy or more, Kimberly bought 55. She's coming to our mastermind, our Multiply live event, which I'm so excited for. Again, you can get details for that too. There's literally one spot left, Kimberly. Can you believe it? One. No joke, literally one. You can find all of the details on the multiplymethod.com, okay? When you buy one copy or more, we're doing this cool challenge. It started today. And inside of a private Facebook group, every day for 30 days, I'm giving you 30 ways to grow your business. So every day for 30 days, I'm giving you a tip, a script, a post, a prompt to generate a new lead that day. Can you imagine you'll generate 30 leads or more in less than 30 days? And by the way, the challenge will take you 5 minutes. Isn't that awesome? Paul, if you bought it on Amazon, just go to the multiplymethod.com, submit your receipt there for the one copy, and that's how you'll get in the group, okay? So that's going to be the free challenge. So again, I want to just recap this. One or more copies, you're going to get the workbook, the free challenge group, which started officially today, so you won't miss a beat, okay? Next, this is the most popular. What Lori did is you buy a 5-pack, okay? The 5-pack of books, that's the most popular package right now at the multiplymethod.com. If you comment the word club below, we'll give you info to your inbox. But when you buy 5 copies, you'll get the workbook, you get the challenge, all of that, yes, for free. But in addition, we're going to do 6 sessions of coaching, 6 sessions of coaching on the Multiply Method live with me. Literally 6 sessions of coaching. So by the end, we're going to do the challenge. At the end of that, we start the 6 sessions of coaching on the Multiply Method. Live coaching with me plus Q&A and implementation. Do you know by the end of the 6 sessions, you're going to be building on the same exact system I am? This is the system that built the billion-dollar sales team that broke records in the industry. So I'm going to highly encourage you, if like a little more doesn't break the bank, get the 5-pack, and here's what you do with it. These are 5 books for your team or your future team, which you're sure to get when you implement the method. Okay? So you get 6 sessions of coaching with me for free when you get 5. Okay? And when you purchase, all the details, dates, everything will be sent to you. But you can get all of those bonuses right now at themultiplymethod.com. Okay? Make sure you specifically go to that site. Again, if you comment the word club below, we'll send you info on the bonuses right to your inbox. So in closure, there's a few things that I want to give you guys confidence today. For those of you who are starting over, can you do it again? Heck yes, you can do it again. And you can build something bigger than before. I had people tell me that we couldn't or we wouldn't. Yes, it's true. People did say that. Oh, it's like a one-hit wonder, like we're building faster than before. Next, it's a bunch of hooey that you can't join an established company and have great success. You can. So let's bust the myth right now that there's saturation and all of these silly little things, because we're seeing a great wave of growth in this new movement that we're creating today. What is it going to take for you to be successful, no matter your company? You might be in a startup. You might be in a company that's 70 years old, like I am. I'm going to share with you these final 3 things. This is what you need to do. Number 1, you need to make a commitment. Some of you don't need a new opportunity. You might need a new commitment to the opportunity you've been given. That's fine. Give yourself permission to begin again. Okay? Number 2, be a student of our profession. How did I learn this? By plugging in to trainings, events, coaching programs, going to company events, etc. I was a student of this. That's how I learned how to do this. I went from shy kindergarten teacher to building one of the most successful sales teams in the history of our industry. I became a student of it. And the third thing is you need simple systems. And leaders, it's the lesson for you today. When you simplify, your team will multiply. So if you want to build with simplicity and systems, peace, profitability, make sure you grab the book today, okay? The Multiply Method at themultiplymethod.com. And we'll get you in the challenge with 1 copy and coaching with 5 or more, okay? But it's been 1 year of grit, but I am extremely grateful for not only the previous season, but our profession and what it has done for us and allowed us to do for so many others. You guys should be so certain of this, regardless of what company you're in. We are in the best profession, and I believe in the best time to be a part of our profession. And those companies and leaders who double down on their people, relationships, they will be the ones that grow in this season. Mark my words, things are shifting, okay? So the greatest advice I can give you if you lead a team is double down on people, double down on relationships, double down on leadership. That is how you fare well in every season. And last, for those of you who are holding on to somebody or something that somebody did or said, I don't care if it's business, personal, whatever. If you want to have a breakthrough in this next season, do yourself a favor and forgive. Okay? I know that's random. You're like, I didn't expect to go to church, but I'm going to tell you the truth. All right. With that, I love y'all. Hope to see y'all in book club. Head over to themultiplymethod.com now and make sure you hit the share button. and share this with your team. Have a great day, guys. God bless. Goodbye for now. And as I always say, I've said it for 20 years. Rock on, rock stars. Talk to you soon.